Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be doing some more Arena Cube Sealed that I promised that I would do. So apologies for no video yesterday. I had a little bit of a sore throat, a bit of a pain swallowing, but it seems to be gone now, so thank God for that. But yes, nice and refreshed, so let's talk for about an hour and a half with an Arena Cube Sealed to make it all the worse. Yeah, typically when that happens to my throat, it usually always inevitably gets worse, but I don't really take good care of my voice box, to be fair, so usually I bring it upon myself. But anyway, I'm sure most of you know what Cube Sealed is at this point. We're going to open up 6 packs of a curated card pool. If you have Arena yourself, you can click this button and see what all the cards are in the set. But typically what we're going to be doing is building a good stuff deck based off of the strongest colours that we get out of these packs. Last time we ended up doing quite well. I won't spoil the result of that. You can actually go back onto the channel and check the previous one if you haven't yet done so. We had a lot of fun with this event actually, and it seems you guys did too, or maybe you just watched it because the rewards suck, which they do, and you didn't want to spend the gold yourself, which is completely fair, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to spend the gold where you guys don't want to spend it. So yeah, let's get into some cube, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button below the video or check out the Patreon link down in the description below. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. We're going to do gold because pay in gold, get gold back. I don't really want to pay in gems and get gold back. It's not a good idea. So yeah, 3,000 gold in. And as well, as I mentioned in the previous video, it is a phantom draft, which means I don't get to keep any of the cards that we see here. According to my deck box, it seems we've got ourselves a Temple of Abandon. And I think I'll do what I did last time and check out the rares and mythics from the packs. We've got to wait for the game to actually load. There we go. Alright, because usually in Arena specifically, the commons and uncommons are very low power. So we're going to use these to supplement the power cards that are in Rare and Mythic. Because obviously we get things like Planeswalkers, and actually we've got a pretty reasonable power card pool in white here. Settler Wreckage is reasonable as a board wipe. We've got God Eternal Ketra, which gets very much out of hand. Lyra, awesome. And then your boy is a Talpa, or your girl. Not actually sure which one it is. I think it's a lady, right? I don't know. Sky takes flight, and the earth trembles. Anyway, played with Zatalpa last time. We had a lot of fun with it. Let's have a look at the blue. The blue actually has quite a fair few cards here, especially things like Thassa, which is one of my favourite Theros cards as well. Getting to flicker and use ETBs. On the face of it, it doesn't look like there's too many blue ETB-based creatures, and it wouldn't really go well with the white necessarily either. We haven't seen the commons and uncommons, so, you know, I imagine most of the flicker targets for Thassa are going to be in that particular area. As for black, Bells and Lock is okay in the right deck. It could draw us one card, it could draw us our entire deck, who knows. Phyrexian Arena, absolutely insane card advantage. Think about the Immortal Sun in our previous pool, for example. Experimental Frenzy, Fires, and Gyre's Immolating Inferno are pretty average. I don't think we're going into red for that. And then we've also got the green pool here. And I'm looking at just the amount that we've got here. Oh, there's even a Finale in there as well. I could see us doing Simic. We actually get Rolesque and Hydroid Krasis as well. Lotus Field does go with it to a certain extent. Oh man, I actually really like this pool. So let's add some cards that we'd see ourselves running. So Brazen Borrower seems pretty sick. Dungeon Geist is pretty reasonable. Let me just get rid of that garbage card style. There we go. I do love these constellations, so I ain't getting rid of them. Patient Rebuilding is a card advantage monster as well. And I could honestly see Stolen by the Fae being pretty reasonable in the right deck. I actually kind of really want to go Bant, because I'm seeing Dream Trawler here, I'm seeing Time Wipe, 2 solid cards. We even have the Glacial Fortress on which to splash it, and if we can get down a Dream Trawler, like, this is kind of the bane of Limited in Theros. I haven't played Theros Limited, but whenever I hear about the negatives of that set, it's that Dream Trawler just wins you the game when you cast it. So I'm kind of interested in playing that, but the cost restriction on it, the double white and double blue, is a little bit awkward. It's made a little bit better with the Glacial Fortress, though. We do have a Golos as well, so we could fix that way. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in a Hydroid Krasis. I think Rolesque is pretty fine, I would say. It's a shame we can't really justify Casualties of War, because that is a dirty card. But yeah, if we went green and white as well, then we could have Ajani, Captain Sisay as well. Oh, Captain Sisay would be really good. Search your library for a legendary card and put it into your hand, so we could get Rolesque, we could get Thassa. If we went with the green-white, we got Ajani as well. And then we can have, you know, God Eternal Ketra, Lyra, Zatalpa, Questing Beast. We got all the legends, actually, so I really do like the idea of going Bant, because it's honestly a very cool... Oh, no. Oh, no. Bear with us a second, chat. Let's get back to building my deck, please. Let's make sure it hasn't undone it. Arena, everyone. Early access, so don't get mad at it. Oh, great, fantastic. All right, well, we knew what we were doing anyway. We weren't towards like the end of deck building by any means, so we wanted that, potentially that, not that. Although that is actually not too bad since we do have green finale. We can X10 and win the game that way. I feel like there are situations where we could just win the game that way anyway. It's like we've got Lyra, which we're probably putting in the deck. And we can just X10 a Lyra, and that's 15 lifelink for striking in the air. That'll probably do it on its own, to be honest. Rolesque, Hydroid Krasis, Sisay, Ajani. Could actually run Night of Autumn as well. Secret powerhouse of the previous cube. What about Golos? I don't know if we'd want Golos. It's like we got 3 of the 5 colours required. We could run Lotus Field or even just like splash a Dragon Skull Summit. They are potentials that we could do, but I don't know if we really want to mess up our mana base that way. That is very, very greedy of an ask. I think we're going to go Biogenic Ooze, First of Rowan Games. I honestly don't know about the board wipes, whether we want Settle the Wreckage and Time Wipe, because we do have some really high-powered cards here. We don't really want to blow them up. What about the Great Henge? Can we make the Great Henge work? Sort of. I think the likelihood is that with Great Henge, we might be casting it at full price, but if we're casting it at full price, it's likely to be later in the game. We've got big Hydroid Krasis. We can grow with the First of Rowan Games. We've got basic counters on everything. This is a 5/5. That's a 5/5. This grows. This makes things a lot bigger. I reckon we could make the Great Henge work, honestly. And yeah, I think with a toolbox kind of deck of Finale might not be the worst thing in the world. We actually have Castle Vantress as well, which we can justify running. Yeah, I'm just not too sure about the Time Wipe and the Settle the Wreckage. They are pretty good cards, though. But we've got like a lot of cards here that can kind of roadblock our opponent. Big powerhouses like Lyra, who have first strike and stop combat from just occurring altogether. I could maybe see Lotus Field, but if you draw that in your opening hand, you're sacrificing potentially a pretty good mana base for what ends up being a mono-coloured 3 generating mana card. And I don't see how we're going to really make the use out of that, to be honest. You really need to be untapping it and things like that. Same thing kind of goes for Nyx Lotus. It's not really going to do a great deal. It's just a mana rock that's not really going to save us. There is a Platinum Angel there, which is interesting to say the least. We could actually, realistically, I feel like we could get away with making a 5-colour pile with this card pool. I don't think we're going to. I think that's a bad idea, but the option's there for sure. Alright, so now we've kind of ticked off the rares and mythics we're going to run. So let's go to the commons and uncommons. And then we're looking at white, blue, and green as well. So let's just fill out the board. Okay. So there's actually some pretty good cards here. We've got Board the Weatherlight, which actually doesn't look terrible. You get to reveal a historic card, which can be a legendary, artifact, or saga. We've both got the sagas. We've got legendaries. We don't have artifacts right now, but maybe we do if I go to over here. Golden Egg, Fireman's Vessel. Could somewhat actually justify a Fireman's Vessel with the curve that we're seeing here, but I'm looking to use my commons and uncommons to smooth this curve out, to be honest, so not so sure on that one. We can run the Tranquil Thicket. It's just another glorified forest after all. We can play it tapped if we absolutely must. We don't need Reclamation Sage because we've managed to get a Knight of Autumn in here. I would suggest every limited deck has at least one way of dealing with artifacts and enchantments. So we have that in the Knight of Autumn. We've essentially have two versions of it with Finale, and we can flicker it with Thassa as well, which is very nice. We don't actually have too many cards that benefit from Thassa, so we might want to enable that a little bit more. I think we could probably get away with justifying Board the Weatherlight. So the way you should look at this is you look at the top 5 cards of your library, and 1 in 5 at the very least has to hit if you're going to justify this card. I think we're going to be able to actually enable that at least somewhat reasonably, so I could probably justify that. Bertha Meletis, also not too bad as well to ramp us up into our Dream Trawlers and our double whites up here as well. So that might be okay. It's almost like a little bit of a ramp spell in a weird roundabout fashion. Could do the same for Wolf Willow Haven as well. I think we want Elvish Visionary for Thassa. Could see Exclusion Mage being a pretty nice bounce spell here as well. Can repeat it with Thassa to just constantly tempo our opponent out of the game. What about Colossal Majesty? I don't know if I can justify that one. That one might be a bit much. Yeah, it's kind of okay, but I don't think it's good enough. Could see Thrashing Brontodon being okay. Again, though, we don't really need too many Destroy Artifact and Enchantment effects when we've got essentially 3 effects of that nature to work with. Rabid Bite could be good removal. I do see that we are lacking a little bit of removal here. We're kind of just trying to value our opponent with this particular card pool, so I think a Rabid Bite probably does look good here. Could go Saheeli, but I feel like we're mostly creatures. Yeah, mostly creatures, so Saheeli's not going to do too much. Could turn a Servo into one of our non-legendaries, I suppose, but I don't think that's really what we want to be doing. And we even have a In Bolus's Clutches here as well, which actually can be pulled with Captain Sisay. So I almost feel like, you know, we want to maybe ramp into this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking that's likely to be what our deck looks like. Obviously I have to trim 2 cards from this pile. But we've got a nice little bit of ramp into a lot of big payoffs, and that's kind of what we're hoping to do here, I think, is to card advantage with our big payoffs. So we've got Captain Sisay, which basically draws us a card every turn. Patient Rebuilding, which could draw us up to 3 cards every turn. Dream Trawler speaks for itself. And then the Great Henge goes really well with our pretty heavy creature base here as well. 14 out of the 40 are going to be creatures, so that works quite well. We've got more sagas for Board the Weatherlight, so this thing's going to do quite a fair bit as well. There's a lot of filtering there. I think maybe we might struggle a little bit in the ramping side of things, but honestly, I kind of like where we're at. Can I justify Thassa? Let's see how many cards trigger off Thassa. We got the Visionary. We have the Exclusion Mage. We have the Knight of Autumn. To a certain extent, we have Dungeon Geists. I'm going to kind of count it. I don't think we should really count it. Biogenicus, Rolesque, and then we can even untap certain things with Lyras and things like that. So we can attack in and give them pseudo-vigilance. So I think that's a lot to justify Thassa. She's also a pretty good mana sink as well. It's easy to forget that there's a 4-mana tapper creature there as well, which could come in really handy. it could be very handy. As far as removal's concerned, let's discuss that. We've got Night of Autumn to a certain extent. There are enchantment creatures, so we could call it that one, in a way. It is removal. Anyway, Dungeon Geists, somewhat removal. I'm going to take that style off in a minute. We've got Rabid Bite. Stolen by the Fae, sort of. I'm going to be very loose with how I, determine what removal is. I think just good tempo is really what I'm talking about here, to be honest. Questing Beast can kind of be removal for Planeswalkers. And we got Imbolus's Clutches, which makes things ours. So we have a lot of stuff. It's not very good removal. But it's there. It's there. I just don't think we've got better options. I think, if anything, if we're going to lose for any reason, it's likely to be a lack of removal. Let me just quickly check over the rares and mythics before we start making cuts. Because potentially there might be something I want to have in here as far as removal's concerned. It might be the justification we need for the Settle in Time wipe, honestly. But I just don't... I don't necessarily see that being a good idea, to be honest. So, let's talk cuts, shall we? We could probably cut a land, since we have the Birth of Meletus and Wolf Willow Haven in here, so could go in and trim a forest, and that leaves us only with one more card. It is a little bit risky to cut a land, for sure, since we have all of these expensive cards, but keep in mind as well, we have a lot of tempo cards for our opponent, so our opponent's going to be wasting their entire turn by replaying things that we've bounced. Hopefully they don't have Enter the Battlefield abilities, but, you know, it is what it is. We got lots of tempo until we have bigger cards than they do. That's kind of the idea with this deck. We have a fair bit of card draw and a little bit of filtering there as well. So like Board the Weatherlight can get me a Saga that gets me a land. So it's kind of like weird roundabout ramp. It's hard to really put into words what I mean sometimes. Alright, so the last card we're cutting. Could honestly see it maybe being a Johnny. Because we have a lot of vigilant creatures already. And Thassa gives pseudo-vigilance. We don't really have any other planeswalkers necessarily. It could be the card. Imagine a Dream Trawler that gets to block and attack as well. I probably would never dare to block with this thing though, to be honest. So, I mean, it might still be a Johnny. I think it is, to be honest. It has some uses, for sure. But I don't know if it really makes the cut. It's going to be terrible on its own, is what I'm thinking. And I'm looking at the rest of our powerhouse cards, and I'm thinking they're doing at least average on their own. So I think it's probably a Johnny the Great-Hearted. We're going to go with that deck. Let me just confirm it. Open it up, and then it should be back in the curve a little bit. So realistically, this is going to cost 4 mana. So I'm going to put the Great Henge there. And Hydroid Krasis might cost 4 mana. Could be any amount, to be honest. It's wherever we find it. But yeah, this is a 2 mana card. So we've got a reasonable curve. It's a hourglass. It's a weird curve, for sure. I'm not going to lie. We're going to rely a little bit on mana here. So we're probably going to win or lose based off of that. Might need to, midway through, add that land we cut back, just in case. But I feel like we'll do just fine with this particular one. So the card that we're going to lead off with on our deck box is going to be Captain Sisay, because I imagine this is the card that wins us the game. As far as bowler sleeves go, let's have a look if we can sleeve them up. What's a good... You know what? Ajani's gone, but not forgotten. Let's have him as the sleeve. Alright guys, well, that's going to do it for the deck portion of things. Let's get into some gameplay, shall we? If you do enjoy the gameplay and the draft, let me know down in the comment section below, as well as leaving a like and subscribing as well for some more content like this in the future. Let's get on with it, shall we? Alrighty then, we're in, and the first worry is that we've got a very expensive hand here and 2 lands, so I think we're going to throw this one back. I might have been a little bit too Too hasty on the cutting of a land there. Perhaps I should have just got rid of like a Rolesk or something. I don't know. I'm all in. Alright, we're going to keep this one. I like this hand. Can potentially ramp into a Dream Trawler. We're going to get rid of the Finale of Devastation for later. And we've got the Exclusion Mage to slow our opponent down. All we want is a forest. Never punished. Alright, so next time we go Wolf Willow Haven on, I guess, an island. And we can Exclusion Mage the turn after that to slow our opponent down. If we can get to this Dream Trawler, I feel like we're in a really good position. Ooh, we've even got Glacial Fortress. Okay, so yeah, let's go Wolf Willow Haven. Ramp it up. I think we're just going to win as soon as we get to the Dream Trawler. So, yeah, it looks like this deck's going to mulligan a little bit more aggressively than a normal list would. But I think once you get the good hand, you're in a good spot. So, Piper the Swarm allows you to do menacing stuff. You absolute savage. You have to take Dream Trawler. You just lose if you don't. Alright. So, I was not really anticipating an Agonizing Remorse. Getting Thought Seized was not on the list of things that I expected. But, you know what? Whatevs. Let's go with first of our own games, play a land. I'm sure we can draw into something else anyway. I mean, we're already at the mana where we can cast our entire deck, so good stuff. So, our opponent's only done a Piper of the Swarm, and we're on equal life totals here. Sigilled Sword of Valerian. Okay. That's fine. Opponent gonna hold back, eh? Okay. So, we do have Rolesk here. I guess we want to play Rolesk because if our opponent kills either one of our counters, or creatures, sorry, then we'll have a backup one to draw the 2 cards. So let's go with Rolesk. It also allows us to hit for 6, which is not too bad. Likelihood is our opponent now blocks with Piper and has nothing to equip that sword to. I mean, what does this thing actually equip as? It goes to a 3/3, so it can't really run through Rolesk anyway. So they're going to take a whopping 6 damage. They have to kill both creatures here in order to stop us from drawing 2 cards. It is possible, for sure. But I'm going to call it unlikely. So what you got? Also, I never mentioned when we were evaluating this card that it also ramps as well. This gold token allows you to essentially add 1 mana of any colour. So we can ramp up to our top end stuff that way as well. So that's yet another card on the list of things that ramps us in addition to Wolf Willow Haven and Birth of Meletus-ish. You gotta be a little bit loose with how you determine value sometimes, especially when it comes to like cube. You don't always get to build the ideal deck, so you have to make the most of what you've got. So blurring the lines between what's card advantage and what isn't can sometimes be a case. Alright, so they're going to make a rat. And Plague Crafter. So, yeah, as we expected. They're going to try and kill 1, but we've got the other. I think we're going to get rid of the 6/6 on the ground, since we've got the 4/5 Trampler. It's going to obviously do some shenanigans here as well. So we draw 2 cards. Oh, wow. Okay. Tough call on what we do here, because we've got some very good cards now. So this thing gives Vigilance, so we could use the Dungeon Geists to tap that down, and I'll have to re-equip that way. We could go with Captain Sisay and set that up. Alternatively, I could go board the Weatherlight, potentially get our Questing Beast or something like that. It's a possibility. I think we tap like that for board the Weatherlight, and then we can Exclusion Mage if we whiff for some reason. So we've got Questing Beast. Wow, just name the card you want. It's usually how you win the game. All right, so tap for 8. Opponent can block with Plague Crafter if they like. Alright. Could be worth going for Sisay, since if they can't remove it, then it's just going to draw us loads of cards. We get a pick of the litter. We can do Impulse's Clutches, Great Henge with Ford, cost reduction. Got Lyra, God Eternal Ketra, Thassa, all sorts. Like, we could flicker Rolesk on end step if we wanted and build the Questing Beast up. I don't know if that's something we necessarily would want to do, though, since things like that can just die. Alright, so we get to Proliferate, which does nothing really. We can get our gold token early. No reason for us to do that in case our opponent has a Disenchant. They might have no better reason after that. I don't care. I'll just get it on my main. Yeah. I know, they can Disenchant Heroic Games right now, but you get my point. There might be a reason why this Heroic Games needs to stick around, and I'm going to leave it there because it's just going to do its thing on my main anyway. Alright, so what they can do is they can make a rat if they would like. It's not going to really do anything though, because they can't block with Questing Beast anyway, so they can make the rat and not block. Guess we'll get in first. Combat first and then play threat second, because depending on what we play here, could mean that they change how they block. They might want to take the 4, but if I played Sisay first, then they might not. So, as a rule of thumb, you usually want to slap down your threat second main. I don't usually do that, to be fair, but it's there as an option. Alright, so we could Exclusion Mage. I really just don't see the reason to. I also don't see the reason to... I guess you could put down another threat with Dungeon Geists. It's just another powerhouse card to run through. Yeah, I guess so. It puts us a little bit susceptible to a board wipe. But if we do it this way, our opponent has no use of Piper of the Swarm anymore. We have a card we can play off of Sisay if we really want to, because I imagine she's not going to be able to attack in here. And most of the time, she's just going to be better as a tutor effect anyway. And now I've got an extra 3 points in the air, so they need to have something that can block Questing Beast. Which is going to be Bontu here. Bontu's going to get Exclusion Maged. So if they can't deal with that, then they're done. Because we got the unblockable Questing Beast, because the rat can't block it, and then we got the flying Dungeon Geist. So worked out in the end to play the Geists. Could have played a little bit more conservative, and I wouldn't have lethal here. But there are obviously risks that you got to take into account when you do overcommit to a board state. So they can decide what they're sacking until the end of time. Nothing they're actually going to get is going to matter, I don't think. God's Willing, if it's in this set, I actually am not sure. Could stop us from bouncing it with the Bontu. So I guess if they've got that, they should maybe dig for it, but I just don't see how that could really turn the tables here. So I'm going to draw 2, getting rid of the Piper and the Sword. They're hoping they've got the blocks, but we already have the bounce. So, yep. Bounce Bontu, swing in for 7 in the air. And we even have this 2-2, which we can shoot her up. We hadn't played our land, so we could get a Ketra there. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Alright, so we got our Dream Trawler taken from us, but our entire deck was just jam-packed full of bombs, so it just didn't really matter in the end. We would have been Dream Trawlering and winning that way, I guess, if they hadn't have taken it, but yeah, this hand was dirty. So far, so good. Alright, we in, boys, and again, similar to our last 7, we've got a bit of awkward mana, so I guess we're just going to mull until we get good mana. This one is not bad. It has turn 2 Birth and Melita, so we are ramping up, it's just that we don't have blue mana here. We can save the Thicket to cycle, I suppose. Yeah, I like this hand. We're going to get rid of Dungeon Geist since it's double blue. We can use the Petty Theft on Brazen Borrow if we ever draw an island, so pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think we're just going to go Forest past the turn. I'm not sure if I want to use the Tranquil Thicket just yet. Might be a bit greedy. Alright, so they've got Traveler's Amulet. It's a card I would have actually appreciated in our list, actually. I think because I've got Birth of Meletus thinning a Plains out, I am going to go for the Tranquil Thicket. If I draw an island, then it's just really good. And Lyra's not too bad. Alright, so if I'm not having blue, then all of our white cards are pretty good, since we've got the double white on the Birth here. So, thin the deck a little bit. And then we've got Plains for next turn. We're going to have a little bit of a blocker as well, because the 0-4 on Chapter 2 is going to do us pretty good for a little while, hopefully. We've got a Rabid Bite. Meh. Meh. Opponent cracking Traveler's Amulet on our turn is very weird. Prior to them doing that, I had a little bit of a concern about counter magic, but they just kind of alleviated that. This blue mana doesn't mean anything anymore. And we draw on an island. Alright, so a little bit stranded here. They've got an Elspeth Sun's Nemesis.
You will advance no further.
Alright, I don't know if that's going to be something we want to Brazen Borrow. I could see bouncing a token as an option, but honestly, just waiting seems okay as well. We've got so much to drop. If we draw any land, we've got a Ketra or Lyra. If we draw a forest, we've got Biogenic Ooze doing its thing. So good. So good. Alright, I think we're going Ketra. She's just really good as an engine piece here. Double Striker pushes right through Elspeth, and any creature we play after a Ketra is going to make some 4/4s for us. So we can use the Rabid Bite if we really want to as well. We've got a Bounce and a Bite. I think likelihood is that we go with maybe Biogenic Ooze and get that going. If we draw a Forest, wink wink game, because everything's been going my way recently. Ooh, Teferi. If we draw another green, then we can make more oozes. Alright, so Teferi shuffles in a Ketra. That's fine. That's kind of what a Ketra does anyway. And then they're going to get in for 1 point. Well, we drew an island. It's not the forest I was hoping for, but I guess it works. So I think it's Lyra, specifically because this allows us to get over the top of these tokens and kill Teferi, who's honestly a very big problem. If they play a flyer... Oh, they just have D-Spark. Okay. If they played a flyer, then we had the Rabid Bite as well, which should be able to take care of pretty much anything. If it was like a Dream Trawler, we tap down the Dream Trawler at the very least and get rid of Teferi, which is still pretty good. Alright, so we're going to take 3. Draw an unknown card. Opponent could have us here, honestly. They've really managed to stabilize with a good board state that we don't really have too much control over. I think I might just go Biogenic Ooze here and start growing the Scoozes. But I'm seeing counter magic in my future, and that even mills over the Ketra, which is absolutely brutal. Yeah, I think we've lost. I don't think we could possibly win now. Esper Control beats Bant mid-range.
Keep up the pace.
Really solid running for our opponent. Okay, goodbye, Elspeth. Oh, what does she need? 4 of the cards. So they need 1 more card, and then you can play Elspeth again. And Curious Obsession. Wow. Need I say more, chat? Do I need to say more about what you're seeing here? So we block one of the Curious Obsessions. We're playing against Mono Blue Tempo now. Yeah, nobody's beating this. Nobody in a million years is beating this. We got Thassa. So we could play Night of Autumn and kill a token, an enchantment. Eventually flip it. I just don't see that mattering. I guess we could do Night of Autumn. kill Staggering Insight, because that's the one that doesn't drop off. This is getting countered again, isn't it? Oh, thank God for that. Alright. This one doesn't drop off on the attack, so our opponent has to attack through a Knight of Autumn in order to keep their obsession, so they can't hold off for a turn. We could actually Rabid Bite, but I'm thinking I want to flash in Brazen Borrower to pressure to Fairy more than anything. But yeah, it's just non-stop value. Absolutely non-stop value. And now they've got Elspeth to enable, and we've got nothing. Drawing 2 cards a turn.
Hurry.
3 cards as well, actually, because Curious Obsession. We would have been blown out hard as well if we'd have gone for the Rabid Bite on the token there. This is just an impossible game. Alright. But they happen, you know. It is Cube after all. It's all about putting out the biggest power cards. Sometimes your opponent just has more powerful cards than you and a better built deck. And mine is certainly greedy. Theirs seems to be really well situated. And a Lyra. Alright, we're done. Let's go to the next game. Okay, we're in. And once again, I don't know what it is about the opening hand, but it always has 2 green sources. Always has it. And then the mulligan gives us good mana. I don't get it. I cannot fathom what on earth is going on with this opening hand thing. But you know what? I'll take it. I think we're going down the Dungeon Geist because we've got the Wolf Willow Haven for the double green on Ooze. But the double blue is kind of a bit out of sight. I'd rather lead with God Eternally Catcher on the double white than a Dungeon Geist, I think, here. So I'm just going to go with that. Play a Forest to pass the turn. Okay. So a lot better of a hand. I really appreciate that about this particular hand. It's great. We're going to go Island, Wolf Willow Haven on... I guess it's Forest. I'm not sure it particularly matters, honestly. Ooh, Vantress Gargoyle. Alright. So we can go Plains, and we can drop down first Erroan Games. After that, Chapter 2 will put 3 counters on the token and make a 4/4. And we can play Biogenic Ooze, which makes a 3/3. So pretty good stuff. Alright, the milling. Dream Trawler again. God dang it. I really like Dream Trawler, and I want to play it. Well, we're going to go with God Eternal Ketra here. Opponent has a choice of either countering or removing. So we're keeping our token at least, so they're going to have to, in theory... Oh my good, Liliana into the trash. In theory, they're going to have to remove this token on their turn, which then allows me to untap and do one of these 2 powerful things. Well then. That's just rude. Gets rid of my token forever. This thing can still not attack, so that's okay. And unfortunately, Brazen Borrower can't bounce our own things, so we're going to have to just go with Biogenic Ooze. Wouldn't really want to bounce Gargoyle, and there's no actual value in bouncing Prison Realm there, so... Here's hoping we get another green source, so we can activate Biogenic Ooze. That gives us at least something to do. Well, actually we got the gold tokens, that's not too bad. So this can get any permanent and gives that permanent legendary. The legendary side of things probably isn't going to matter too much. I'm not sure if Cast Down is in this format, but we're not going to legend rule very often, I don't think, unless they've got a Dream Trawler or one of our blue cards in there as well. I think we're just going to make tokens. Just make a token and start growing it. Grow the Ooze. So use the gold token. Make a 2/2. And this thing, let me just check. Can't block unless you have 4 or more cards in hand. So, in theory, if they could draw, they'd go down a card and they won't go up more than 2. So they can't block at all. So let's just get in, If they've got a flash creature, we got a Brazen Borrower. Alright, they're at 10. Grow the Ooze. They're also taking damage off the Dreadhorde invasion as well, which is pretty good. Knight of Autumn. Could have been a good card, but it's in the trash now. Let's see what they've got. Short of them having a... Oh. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. We can get them empty-handed. Yeah, so what we can do... Actually, do we have lethal there already? We... Brazen Borrower, the Dream Trawler, they have to tap it by discarding. Untap, we go in Bolus's Clutches. They block here, and yeah, they've got 2 attacking power there. Alright. Yeah, we actually had them. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright, that is 2 and 1 now. 2 very solid wins and 1 very solid defeat. So, yeah, it's very polarizing, this deck. I'm loving playing it, though. I just really enjoy dropping all the bombs. But yeah, let's keep going. Really nice short game. Okay, we're in, and for the first time ever, we don't have the same colour mana in our opening hand. We do, however, have the wrong colour mana in our opening hand, and no real sign of it getting any better. What's my opponent's sleeves? Are they the anime ones? I actually don't know. I'm tempted to throw this one back, because I just don't see it doing anything. And again, we get 3 mana. There's something really sneaky going on here. We're going to keep this one. I think we put Hydroid Crisis to the bottom. We have no blue mana, and it's a pretty late game card. I'd rather just see it later if our opponent can shuffle our deck. I mean, we can do it as well. We've got Birth and Meletus and things like that. I think if we can get 1 blue mana, then we got the Thasser Elvish Visionary or even Biogenic Ooze. Seems pretty good to me. So I think we're going to go with Forest, and we're going to pass the turn. We might be interested in cycling the Tranquil Thicket again, especially since we got the Elvish Visionary. Oh, it's the Lucas Leaves. Oh, I really like the new Planeswalker, by the way, if you were curious. It's my go, chat. Oh, boy. It's my go, chat. Don't they know they're on camera? Captain Sisse. Very nice. Very nice. Might not be too great against a black deck, but we'll see. Let's get him for 1. We'll pass the turn. Hopefully we get a Exclusion Mage bit of value here to slow our opponent down tempo-wise to make up for... Nope, we're not going to have that. There's no way I'm bouncing that. The alternative is we just get Birth of Meletus, and that gives us our 4th mana for Thasser, who can then flicker Elvish Visionaries and whatnot. Should be pretty nice. Yeah, we're not going to block. We're not going to attack, sorry, because they block. So Thasser's not looking too bad. Oh, Imperious Perfect. Opponent trying out Elves. Interesting. They might not have blocked then, actually, knowing that they had the Perfect. I don't think it's worth testing that theory, but still. We got a Forest, so... We have options. We have either Thasser, which gets blown out a little bit by our opponent killing our Visionary. We got Biogenic Ooze, which gets guaranteed value. We got Sisse, which doesn't do anything until it untaps, and then we got the Imperious Perfect, which can Exclusion Mage, which can bounce the Imperious Perfect. It's a tough one. I'm going to try Sisse. I think Sisse sets up a Ketra. A Ketra sets up the rest of this hand. We'll see if they've got the removal. Cycling Tranquil Thicket. Okay. Pass the turn. We got 1 blocker for their 2 2/2s. And we have options. Yeah, I think the longer Sisse stays out, the better this becomes. But it's looking, judging by that hover, that might not be the case. Yeah, Spark Harvest, kill Sisse. That's fine, though. Kind of just got, like, super value there. Opponent lost a creature to kill a creature. So, and they lost a card as well, so they 2-for-1 themselves for that. You can attack all you want. I absolutely block 100%. Okay, they're going to make an elf. Totally fine. And Plaguecrafter. We get rid of that right there. We got Lyra, which is not a bad card at all. I think we just ooze. Again, it's a tough one, because we could draw loads of cards with Elvish Visionary. It's definitely a thing, but I think we ooze. That way, if we play Thassa next turn and they kill one creature, we have the backup creature which benefits from being flickered. So we're going to make some ooze tokens. It's dead now. Long live the ooze. But we're not taking that much damage. Just taking 3, which is totally fine. This should be running out of removal any day now. You'd think, right? Rolesque. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Turns Elvish Visionary into a 3/3, but I don't know if we want to do that. I think we'll just go with maybe Thassa. I'm finding it really tough to justify running Thassa out into this, but I mean we get 1 flicker off Visionary right now. So that's not too bad. So we're going to get him for 3. We don't really care about the damage coming back at this early stage in the game. And we can flicker Visionary, so we're drawing 2 cards a turn now. The unfortunate part is we're doing it on our end step, but, you know. Opponent's giving us a good Exclusion Mage target. We got Board the Weatherlight as well, so we got a 2-card turn next turn. Which is always nice. Biogenic Ooze of their own. Alright, well, we're going to bounce that Ooze instead of the Elf, since that just grows bigger. Take 5. Take 7. That's fine. Night of Autumn. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is going to play Exclusion Mage. Going to bounce the Ooze token. And we'll board the Weatherlight. It's a shame we don't have like Mox Amber or something like that. And then we flicker Exclusion Mage and get rid of the Elf token. 2 removals. Alright, now we got a blocker with the Ooze token. We got a blocker with the Exclusion Mage. When it has the Great Henge, it's not very good for us at all, but we do have Night of Autumn. So hopefully they can't take too much value out of this Henge. I mean, they make 1 elf and then that's it. Yep, I'm blocking. Let's see. How are we blocking? I think we're blocking like this. Glacial Fortress. So we have to play Night of Autumn here to kill the Great Henge. Absolutely has to happen. That's step 1. Opponent's not very happy with me, I don't think. We could Stolen from the Fae and bounce Elvish Reclaimer and make a 1/1. Not a great deal of value in that, I don't think. So I think I'll just go with the Aroan Games, make a 1/1. Let's end the turn. And I believe we flicker Exclusion Mage and just bounce the Perfect, make them replay it. Could be Night of Autumn to turn it into a 4/3. Since they've got the Biogenic Ooze attack there, but we've got a chump block, so it's fine. I think we just slow them down. Could even see using this to bounce the token as well. Yeah, I guess so. Just keep removing all the tokens that they generate. Agonizing Remorse, help yourself. It sucks to lose Lyra here. I'm sure that's probably what they're gonna go with. Although Stolen by the Fae can do a fair bit. We can get 3 1/1s with that. But Lyra's too good, honestly. Alright, Kite Sail takes Stolen. Sure. We're going to chump block a 1/1 on the Biogenic Ooze. And then play down Rolesque. and then have a really nice board state. We can always reset Ooze as well at any given time, and we can tap it down with Thassa when we've got a lot more of a mana sink. But the moment we bounce that Ooze, they make another 2/2, which is less than ideal. Sack a land, get another land, just to thin the deck, sure. We get more lands. Alright, so I think I'm going to put the counters on Night of Autumn, because we won't be flickering that one. We've then got Rolesque as well, who can... Does this need to... It needs to be 4 or greater. We've got Rolesque and we've got Night of Autumn to do that, though. So I think maybe I just go with the token. Play the land, and pass the turn. We will flicker. I think it's just... Oh, actually, it could be Rolesque. Yeah, I think it might be just Rolesque. And then make this a 5/5. Somewhat stabilizing. We've got flyer protection, we got big bodies, we're drawing 2 cards next turn, almost guaranteed. They have to literally deal with the first Heroan games. We can bounce any of their creatures at any given point. Kill any artifact or enchantment at any given point. Command the Dreadhorde for Sisay. Alright. That we can bounce back to our hand with Exclusion Mage. Even got Rabid Bite. Good stuff. Oh my goodness. This is just... It's too much value. I can't handle it. I can't handle it, guys. Okay. So, let's do... I mean, we've just got too much value. I can kill Freebooter with 1/2, and then we've got a bounce of a 3-drop. Can this get any target creature with converted mana cost? So I could bounce a 3-drop of my own. I don't think we want to do that, though. So I think we just want to have you deal damage to you. Give me back my Stolen by the Fae. We can X3. Bounce you, set that back. Make 3 1/1s. Swing. That'll do. And then Exclusion Mage, give me my Sisay back. That's mine now. Thanks for taking 4 damage to give that back to me. And yeah, this deck is sick. I love it. I love this format. I really do. I could see how it'd be terrible if you went 0-3, but good lord, we ain't. We ain't going 0-3. We are now 3-1. So this cost me 1,500 gold so far, and the other 1,500 gold went towards a rare and 2 uncommons. If we win once more, this event is completely free. So let's see if we can do that. We've got 2 potential losses, so 3 more potential games here in which to actually go even. I like our odds, but I'm not going to jinx myself, so let's go for another game. Okay, we're in, and is this perfect mana? With a pretty mediocre hand, in all fairness. This might be a mull. If we draw 1 land, we can Hydroid Krasis X2 and draw a card. From there, I don't know. I don't like the idea of Hydroid Krasising X2 at all. Ugh. Do we take our chances with a mull? Or do we take our chances with this hand? We are on the draw as well, so I could kind of see keeping this. As terrible as the cards end up being, our top decks are typically pretty good from past experience. I've got to take them all. Alright, this is much better. Okay, so we got Questing Beast, which can Rabid Bite some stuff. I think we dump Rolesque. Actually, maybe it's just a land. Could just be a land. Yeah. I think up until Questing Beast, we're likely to draw a land. Or something that can be cast off this. We do need the double green specifically for our top end card, so I'm not going to get rid of the spare forest. I think we're going with that. We'll just put Glacial Fortress in tapped and pass the turn. Alright, so leading with Zalfarin Void. Completely unaware of what they're doing so far. And yeah, you see, you just drop a land, you get a land. So let's dump down Glacial Fortress just in case we get the Birth of Meletus or Board the Weatherlight. Those are going to be two good cards for us. Saproling Migration, eh? Okay. We've got Lyra Dawnbringer, which we're 1 white away from casting. And they're on Gruul so far. It's hard to see a card that is better than Questing Beast next turn. They are very much pumping out quite the board state, though. Yeah, so we're going to 12 when we cast Questing Beast. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, this might be too slow. Never mind. Okay, so we take 1 damage. We pass the turn because Verix can block Questing Beast and I want a Rabid Bite. Yeah, we're probably losing. If they've got an answer to the Questing Beast, we just immediately lose. Frostodon stops lifelink, so there's that. Also, it has Menace, so we can't block it. Crater Maker, okay, take 1. And Tracker, take 1. Ooze, and yeah, I think that'll do it. Yeah, we go wide and we lose. That was a quick and simple game. Pretty bad hand for us, I guess, but, you know, really aggressive hand for our opponent. Okay, we're in. This is the hand to end all hands. If this is good enough and we win, we have ourselves a free sealed. I think this is good enough. We've got turn 1 Glacial Fortress, turn 2 Elvish Visionary, work our way up until we get to 5 mana for... We've got the double blue on Patient Rebuilding. That's just insane card advantage, which then leads hopefully into Lyra or Impulse's Clutches. So, totally happy with this hand. Island for our opponent, and there's our double white. Mana completely fixed, nothing to worry about here. Even got Hydroid Crisis. Oof. Alright, so drop down the Visionary, get ourselves an Aketra. I love this deck. It needs to give me a 5th land. Once it does that, I'm going to be pretty happy. Thanks, deck. I appreciate you. Alright, pass the turn. So they got Taranika, who attacks as a 3/3 but makes any creature a 4/4 with Indestructible. A problem for sure, but not a problem for long in theory. I kind of think we just go Hydroid Crisis X2. Yeah, the card advantage is already here in this hand, so let's just get down another creature. Offer up that potential double block on Taranika. And then we can slap down, I guess, a Ketra at that point. Got the Lyra to block the Kefnet. So hopefully no pump spell here. I doubt it. I don't think there's any pump spells in this format that I have to care about. So no more Taranika. They got God Eternal Aketra. Okay. Well, joke's on you, because I also have Aketra. Who can Aketra the best? We could go with Lyra first. Next turn we could just Imbolus's Clutches there, Aketra. And steal it ourselves. That's a tough one. Could offer the trade with our own Aketras as well this way. We take 6 if we play Lyra. Take 10 if we play Patient Rebuilding, so I think it's probably Aketra. I'm happy for the trade-off here, if that's what it comes to. That seems to be what it's coming to. Alright. So, both deal first strike to each other at exactly the same time. And then they both deal the damage again, killing each other. I'm going to put my Ketra back in, I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to guess our opponent will do the same. And then I really hope they tap out for something dirty, so that I can steal it with the clutches. They do not, and that worries me. That worries me. Okay, so unfortunately we don't have the double green for Ooze, because that would be what I lead with here. There's no way they can't play something here, so that has to be counter magic. So I think we just go with Dungeon Geist. I don't see... Kefnet has actually been consistently a disappointment whenever I play him, so let's just tap him down. Let's just pretend that him being a 4-5 is the biggest problem with that card, because it probably is. There you go. Your opponent's whiffed, essentially. Immortal Sun. That's mine now. Thanks, bro. And then we swing for 4. So we own the Immortal Sun now. All of our cards are cost reduced on colourless, which is great. They've got Lyra, mine's bigger. We draw a Ketra and Rabid Bite. So we've got, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't play 2 cards, but we can play Lyra, Rabid Bite. I guess that's what we're going with. So Lyra, my Lyra that's bigger kills your Lyra, gains me 6 life, and I swing for 4 again. And there is a way that I can win next turn, I think, because we've got... Oh, never mind. Opponent kills all creatures. I was going to say we have Finale of Devastation if we draw a green source. Let's see if we would have. We would not have. Okay. Well, we're going to go with Patient Rebuilding. So I can draw basically my entire deck, I think. Seems like a bad idea, but we're going with it. Opponent puts the top 3 cards of the library, which means Kefnet's going to get rolled over. So we don't have to worry about that. My Kefnet actually survives their Kefnet, which is funny. Alright, so we mill for 3. Any lands, draw as cards. We didn't draw cards there because we did not hit lands. We did hit, however, a forest, which means we can play lots of stuff. Our opponent has had enough. And that, ladies and gents, means that yet again, once again, we have ourselves a completely free sealed. 3,000 in, 3,000 out. Very close. We were 1 loss away from losing that one, but... Yep, this deck's dirty, is all I'll say about it. I really like this deck, so let's find out if my gold becomes gems now. I kind of don't want it to be honest. But, you know, if we get here, I get an extra rare as well, so I guess there's also that. I don't know. I've got enough gems. I just want it back in gold, because gold is 1k per pack, and I like it that way. As you can maybe tell, because I'm hoarding it. But anyway, besides the point, let's go for one more game. Alrighty then, we're in. We do not have any green mana. Otherwise, the hand is probably mediocre. Got turn 4 Dungeon Geist, that's just not enough. Assuming that we stabilize on 4, Dungeon Geist almost certainly will not stabilize us. If we drew a green, I'm not seeing these cards being particularly good. So we're going to hit the mull on that one. And we are missing green. But we do have the Birth of Meletus on 2, which can give us a little bit of a blocker. Card advantage, card advantage. I think we keep this one. I'm honestly not sure what we cut. I think it might be Hydroid Crisis again. It's not a card you want in your opener. I'd rather have it get shuffled in with the Birth of Meletus. And it will get shuffled in as well, so it won't be at the bottom of my deck for very long. Questing Beast is okay. We only need one green source to enable it since we have the Wolf Willowhaven, and we're so good at Magic the Gathering that that's exactly what we got. Alright, so we got Questing Beast on turn 3. Seems good, right? In theory. I think we lead straight off with that as well. Opponent's not likely to put anything down that Questing Beast cares too much about. Oh, they're going counters on Spellbreaker. That is very interesting. That's very interesting. I think we just have to offer the trade, right? Because I'm going to be trading with it later. I mean, we could go with, like, the first Heroan games. That makes a 4/4 token, but likelihood is they kill it and then they attack him for the 4. I'd rather them have just 0 power on board with what appears to be a little bit of an aggressive strategy. So we are trading down a little bit, but I think the cards in their hand probably mean that this is probably a trade-up. Considering the strength of our hand is not particularly great. If our opponent even gains like the slightest bit of edge, this hand will fold. Alright, so they got Freebooter. That's fine. You take the first Heroan games, I presume. Yeah. So we need to see a really good powerful card here. It's got Embolus's Clutches. It's not a very good powerful card, unfortunately. So let's just go Birth of Meletus, thin the deck, and play the Plains. Pass the turn. Alright, so now I actually want them to drop down a big burly threat, because then we get to control ourselves a big burly threat. Don't know what they could possibly do, like a Liliana would be a thing. Dreadhorde General. I'd be happy with that. As long as it doesn't have hexproof, I approve of whatever our opponent puts down. Skargan Hellkite. Gonna probably put the counter on it, yeah, so I think I'm happy with a 5/5. I even have Brazen Borrower, so I could actually turn their entire turn into replaying the Hellkite. It's not a bad turn at all. The alternative is that I steal Hellkite and use it. We don't have any way of generating red mana in our deck, so I'd just use it as a 5/5. I think I'm going to play the island and I'm going to pass the turn. I think I'm going to bounce Hellkite and make them reuse it. It's a shame I don't have a way to activate it, because I could shoot the Freebooter, which would be pretty funny. Yeah, let's just let them go to combat. And bounce Hellkite back to their hand. They could pay 4 mana to shoot us for 2, but then they can't replay it. So I don't think that's a good idea for them. So let it go. And this is kind of what I meant in the deck tech portion, where it was slowing down tempo-wise to allow us to find our big bombs. It's exactly what we're doing here. Alright, so that's a 3/3. So I could steal it now. It's okay. If I went with Dungeon Geists, then they'd still have the activation on Hellkite, which is annoying. I just feel like I can get so much better value with this. Feels a bit greedy to think that way, though. I guess we're going for it. That's mine now. I think I'm being a little bit too greedy with this Clutches. I think this is good enough as it is, but I mean, like, looks like they might have like an Assassin's Trophy or something like that for the enchantment. If they don't, I can get a few turns at least with a 5/5 beta. Turns into a 4/4 elk. Okay, that's fine by me. It's not great, but it's fine. You see, that's a card that I would have loved to have stolen. That's the annoying part. If I'd have waited a turn, that would be mine now. But I didn't. So let's get in for 4. Play the forest, and I think we pass the turn. Don't have anything good to tap down with, and we can float with Brazen Borrower instead. So they get rid of the Questing Beast, drain me for 2. Yeah, I wish this was mine. I wish I owned that. Needs Devotion of 7 to become a creature as well. Risk factor. I will take 4. Been a long time since I've seen risk factor. I'm assuming they're going to go for it again. I'll take another 4, I think. Yeah, I'm sure the average value of cards they draw with this is going to be greater than 4. I'd rather them run out of cards and then us drop a big bomb that they can't answer. So that's my thinking on that one. Skewer the critics. Okay. Sure. I think we flash in Brazen Borrower to kill Freebooter, because no doubt they attack with it. Oh, they don't. Cheeky. Very cheeky. We're just going to flash in anyway, though. We've got a Creative Food on end step. Oof. That's an oof from me, dog. So I guess they... Well, actually, they knew completely about Brazen Borrower, didn't they? I'm being silly. They knew entirely about it. I'm going to go Dungeon Geist and tap it down, though. I think, like the first game, we really want to be pressuring our opponent here because we're losing 2 a turn. We don't have time. But we do have an attacking board state here. And the potential to top deck a very good card. So it's a tough one on the risk factor now, because we have to take 4 down to 4, and that gives us 2 Clothis turns, and I don't think we can kill our opponent in 2 turns, realistically. So I think if the risk factor is here, I actually have to let them draw cards. Savvy Hunter, okay. You also got to take into account as well that they're generating food, which is 3 life every turn. And it's just not something I'm particularly happy with. Yeah, I think the Imbolus's clutches not being on Clothis is the big deal here, because we have Dungeon Geists to tap down the Hellkite, which would be just as good. Alright, well, we're swinging. Let's see if they're blocking. 3/3 blocks the 4/4, makes a food token. Okay. So they take 6. We play Biogenic Ooze. They're going to draw a card. See if they can find extra points of damage for the Hellkite, maybe. Or a way to close out this game. Definitely could be a thing. But we're going to try close out the game now. Got the Biogenic Ooze. It's coming down, making 2 bods, making 3/3s. We've got the risk factor, which they can discard one of them cards. They're so hesitant to discard them as well, so they've got to be something pretty good. And it was actually a land. Interesting. Okay. So, they have 2 cards next turn. We go to 2. We take nothing unless they've got hasty flyers, since we have the 0/4. They could have Questing Beast or the other variety creature. If they don't have it, we've got 4 blocked here. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10, 9, 8. I think I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take my chances. It is a huge risk, though. We are going to 2. Any burn spell, flying hasty creature is enough. I suppose if they could go even on the board state as well, that would also do it. So we go to 2. It's a hippie. We top deck a plains. Well, we swing in. Yeah, not good enough. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not really profiting at all from this win or loss, so, you know. It is what it is. Maybe they don't see the goose. I think they see the goose, though. Yeah. So make a food, crack the food, go up to 12. Yeah, good game. Ugh, dang it, 3 points short. So we could have let them draw there, and we would have had an extra turn. But that's assuming that the cards that I gave them, the 3 cards I gave them, weren't enough to just completely disregard that. I guess I didn't do the math on the Gilded Goose, though, so that was probably a punt in general. We had all sorts of draws, though. Any bounce spell would have been enough. What else we could have done? Night of Autumn, that would have been enough. I had so many, actually. Let me have a look at... see if we can check the deck anyway. What were our outs there? It's okay, though, because, I mean, we went 3 and 4 at the end of the day. We already profited. Let's see what our outs were. We had Hydroid Crisis, gain life, win. Exclusion Mage, bounce, win. Night of Autumn, gain life, win. That was really about it. Oh, roll extra points on bodies, win. And that was it. Maybe Great Henge as well. Tap, gain a little bit of life, potentially win. Finale of Devastation. Get any of the creatures I mentioned, win. We had outs. We had outs on that line. Maybe they weren't good outs, but who knows. Rabid Bite. Did we have a... We didn't have a lifelink code, did we? So I wouldn't be able to do any of that. But I guess that's also a win. So we can kill Hippie with that. Yeah. An actually large amount of our deck was win cons there. But yes, 4 and 3. Not the 5 and 2 we got last time, but... It is basically the equivalent. We also got 20 gems, so it's like we got the 5th win anyway. And we got some crappy cards, which actually mean absolutely nothing to me. But yeah, that's going to do it for another Cube Sealed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know how you guys are getting on with Sealed yourselves down in the comments section below. I'm sure most of you will already let me know about how I could have won that last game. I'm sure you're already typing away before you've even heard this. But good on you. Make sure to do that because it helps out the channel a great deal with the good old engagement. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Also helps out a great deal. Hopefully I've helped you out with your sealed strategy a little bit. If I have, help me out by liking, subscribing, all that. You know, maybe. All right, we might be back with another Cube Sealed. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we're 2 wins up at the moment, so we're on a streak. Good old gambler's streak. I have to lose eventually, but... Today is not the day, so maybe we'll come back for a 3rd one if you guys enjoy it enough. I'll have to check the old analytics for that one. But you guys enjoyed the last one, so I imagine you'll like this one. I'm waffling, so I'm going to end off the episode. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care.